Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Wealth Building for Dummies podcast. My name is Kyle Demian. I'll be your host for today's show, and we have Renji Matthew with us as well. Today, we're going to be diving into Business 101 and just covering the basics. We talked about side hustles earlier this week. And today we're going to talk about the basics of launching and starting your own business. Whether it's one of those side hustles or something else, we're going to touch on the mindset, having a business plan, having the proper structure, different things in regards to tax savings, and then marketing and sales as well. So, Renji, kind of start us off in regards to Business 101 when someone's going to go launch their own side hustle in their first business. Where should they start?
Well, first off is research, like whatever field you're in and what are you trying to get started. Find out what your goals are in that field and what you want to do, what goals you want to accomplish, right? And once you get started, let's say you're starting to make some money and stuff, there's proper setup of a business, right? Like setting up an LLC or an S corp or whatever it might be, depending on what tax strategies you want to use and tax savings you want to use. Um, Great thing is there's companies out there that will do it for you. But if you want to save money on starting out a business, you can honestly go to the Secretary of State website for whatever state you're in. For example, for myself, it's Oklahoma Secretary of State website. For Kyle, it would be Ohio Secretary of State website. And you can set up entity structuring on there. And Oklahoma, it costs $100, and if I want to use a credit card, it's $4 service fee. So I can get an LLC set up at $104. So that's as simple as it is. And the reason for setting up an LLC or S corp or whatever it may be is there's so much more tax savings for that, because as an individual, if you started a side hustle, you're there's not as many tax savings as an individual as you do as a business owner. There's so many more. We've talked about this on a previous episode. There's so many more tax savings, tax strategies you could use as a business owner. The IRS tax code, there's about 7,800 pages, and most of those is about how not to pay taxes. I think only 50 pages is about how to pay taxes. The rest is about how to defer or not pay taxes altogether. It's set up for small business owners. So if you know how to do that, it's a great way to save more of your money and keep more of your money. Um, but yeah, do you have anything to add on to that, Kyle?
Yeah, you mentioned, setting up and getting an LLC. Another reason to do that, aside from the tax savings, is just protecting you personally. LLC stands for limited liability company. And think of it just like that. It limits the liability for you as a person in regards to when you're going into business. And it can protect you a lot from that standpoint as well. The next point to make, and the next thing we want to talk about is just actually getting started too and taking the action steps. Most people get too caught up maybe in the research phase or the planning phase, and they want to wait until the timing is right, till the economy is right, till they feel ready. But you can find yourself in a place where you're always just getting ready to get ready to get ready to get ready. And we talked about it on our past episode with the side hustles. You through actually doing the work and just taking action, that's where you learn the most in business and entrepreneurship. You can read all the books you want, you can go and attend all the classes you want, but think about it like this: you can't read a book on how to ride a bike and be able to learn how to ride a bike, right? You can't attend a seminar or a webinar to learn how to ride a bike. You've got to get on the bike, fall off a few times, learn how to go and ride the bike. And that is the same exact thing when it comes to business. You got to just take the action. And for example, with this podcast, I don't think we were ready to start a podcast, but one day we decided, like, hey, let's just turn on the camera and start talking about money. Let's start talking about business and marketing and sales, and let's help people, start to build wealth. And we weren't ready to do it. We still don't have, I still use an AirPod. I don't have the proper microphone. I think my camera looks okay, but like I wasn't necessarily ready to start it. And it's just going through the actions and taking the actions is where you're going to learn how to run your business. You're never going to feel ready. So, number one, take action. Number two, have the proper setup. Your mindset when getting started. Let's talk about the business owner's mindset. Most people are probably employees and they're going to be shifting over to becoming an entrepreneur. So, Renji, for you, because you used to be a nurse, talk about for you and your experiences. Like, was there a mindset shift that you had to make when going from being an employee to an entrepreneur? And what are some of the tips that you may have for our watchers?
Yeah, so when I first went to full time doing business, I remember thinking, oh, I'm my own boss. I can work whenever I want to. But you're gonna fail real fast if you do it in that mindset, because think about it this way: when you go to a job, you're working for somebody else, but you're putting all your effort in and doing all that, but you're doing it for someone else. If you look at your business as a job and take the same amount of hours and effort and everything into that business is going to grow real fast. Because if you, let's say you worked 9 to 5, if you put in that same amount of time into your business, work 9 to 5, it's going to do so much more in the business than if you just say, okay, I'll just work whenever because it's my business. Because you're going to keep putting things off. You're going to put off the important things and do the things that don't even matter. And eventually it's going to be like, oh no, I didn't do anything today that was money making tasks, right? You're just going to do all the menial tasks that doesn't mean anything. I mean, they all mean something, but it's not, over the grand scheme of things, it's not going to do anything, right? So that's one of the biggest hurdles I had to, jump over is, okay, I have to schedule, okay, from this time to this time, I'm going to work on this. And then from this time to this time, I'm going to work on this thing. And if you don't schedule those things, this is something I failed on so much. It's like, oh, I'll do it at some time. And then you keep putting it off, and then it never gets done. And then you have a time crunch that comes, and you're like, crap, I have to do all of this stuff, all the 2 weeks worth of work, all in an hour. So setting yourself up for success is going to go a long way. And when I say that, like Kyle said, mindset is one way. Setting up your business is the right way is one way, and setting your schedule up in the right way is going to be a huge thing too. Because if you don't have a schedule to follow, like you do at work, for your business, it's gonna, you can still succeed, but it's gonna be a lot harder.
Yeah. How I looked at it myself when I was making the transition is very similar to you. And I used to have a job where we would work 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. on Mondays and Thursdays when I was working at a car dealership. So I had to think to myself, if I'm willing to work all day for somebody else's business and to help them build their dreams, through another small business, um, I I I sh I better be able to work 12 hours a day for myself and for my own business and to support my own family. So think about that yourself too. Because yeah, we do see entrepreneurs that, start their own business and then all of a sudden, they think that they can work whenever they want. In reality, when you become a business owner, you're working all the time. It doesn't stop. All new ideas are always coming around. You're thinking of different things at different times, whether it's marketing, sales, the startup process. Like your mind is constantly going. You're really constantly working on your business. So that's the side as far as, mindset. We talked about structure. Now, actually talking about like business acquisition. So you launched your business, you've got this structure and setup completed. Now it gets into like marketing and sales. And Renji, take us through like whatever you choose, marketing or sales or maybe both. What would a new business owner have to focus on in regards to that?
I think the biggest thing is, you to make money, you got to have sales, right? to to have sales, you got to have clients coming through your door. to become those sales, right? So I think the biggest thing is client acquisition. So what kind of marketing are you doing to get those clients through the door? And with us, we've done a lot of stuff on social media. And Kyle, you've mentioned some of the different ways of marketing in the past episode. You want to go over that again real quick?
Yeah. So the four ways to generate marketing for you is through warm market, your cold market, paid advertising, and then lastly through social media. So warm market is your friends, your family, people that know you, colleagues. Cold market, people that don't necessarily know you, but maybe they're in your area. And whether that's door knocking, cold calling businesses, doing things like that. Paid advertisements would be, running ads through Facebook, through Google, in a local newspaper, on the radio. And then lastly, social media is turning on the camera and posting stuff on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, just talking about, you starting your business. And I think a big as we're talking about this, I think an easy way to market your business would just be to document the process and go live on social media. Record yourself, writing out your business plan, acquiring your LLC, talking about your steps for marketing. And there's going to be people that'll follow along and watch your story as you go, as you're building your business. Like that's going to inspire other people to go out there and start their own business. And I think that's initially where you can start. There's no cost to social media. All right. It's free to set up a Facebook or a TikTok account. All you got to do is just turn on your phone and hit record and start talking. And here's the thing, Renji and I are both naturally introverts, I would say, right?
Uh, I guess when it comes to cameras, for sure.
Okay. Yeah. When it comes to cameras, we're both introverts. So, turning on the camera at first, I probably could say for the both of us, we both hated and it was uncomfortable. And if we go back and look at our first videos, they're probably really bad looking back on them now. We've come a long way. And once again, what does it come down to? We just got started. We've built up the muscle that we can turn on the camera, we can go live on social media, and it just doesn't bother us anymore. And I think the biggest reason why people don't do it and it kind of holds them back is just the fear of what other people are going to think. And here's the thing, other people don't pay your bills. You know, other people have their own stuff going on in their own life. They're not worried about you. They're not worried about you looking silly on a TikTok post or a YouTube post. Like, sure, they may scroll past it and say, "Oh, what is Kyle up to now? What is he doing nowadays?" But they're going to scroll right past it, go on with their day. They're going to see a Facebook article about, how their cousin just got a new job, and like they already forgot about you 3 seconds later. Like people are so worried about themselves, they're never thinking about you or what you're doing. So don't let other people's opinions hold you back from your dreams and your aspirations, making more money and creating a better life for you and your family. So those are the four ways to generate marketing for your business. And then once you start to acquire clients, that's when the fifth way becomes available, and that's through referrals. Asking your existing clients for who they know that you can help that's in a similar, problem or similar scenario to where they were before you help them with your solution. So that covers the marketing side. And Renji, in regards to sales, I feel like this is going to be pretty dependent upon whatever their business is. Some people may have a hardcore sales process, having to sell people on, why they should use these vitamins or supplements, why they should use this software, maybe selling them on a car or selling them on financial services. But I guess, do you have anything really to add on to the sales side? Maybe generic advice to help people out with that?
Yeah, I mean, what problem are you solving is what you want to figure out. Are you is your service solving some type of problem? And the people you're talking to, do they have that problem, and is it something you can help them with? If you can, great. So I think one thing, no matter what industry you're in, you want to learn about your client, like see what's going on with them, what issues they're having that you can help them with. Like I think one part where I my history. Like one of the times I realized I wasn't doing things the right way was I was about, oh, this is what I can do for you. How, this is how I can help you. This is what I can set you up with. All this stuff. But once I learned to change it to where, hey, what are you about? How can I help you? What problems are you going through in your business, or what are you trying to solve? And then learning about that person, and then you look at, okay, how can I help this person? If you look at it in the standpoint of, hey, can I help this person? Can I truly help them? Can my services actually help them? Or am I just showing to them to make money? If you're trying to actually help the client and your services can actually solve a problem for them, money will come. If you're in business to serve others, money will come. If you're in business to make money, you'll make money, but that won't last long. You have to have a bigger purpose, a purpose bigger than yourself, to be there for others, to help service others, and stuff like that. And I think there's so many things we could talk about, but I think for me, that's one of the biggest things I had to learn.
Yeah, I'm with you. I've always tried to keep like a servant mindset, where it's like, I don't have to sell this person my product or whatever I have. Maybe it's not a good fit for them, and that's okay. But
Yeah.
exactly, what problems are you having? What have you done to try to solve those problems? And here's how I can help. And I think when you get a clear understanding of what their problems are, and then you can show them your solution and kind of fit the puzzle pieces together, right? If they have a problem that is, they see greater value in solving that problem over the cost of your service, that is when people buy when there's a higher value than what the cost is. And that's what you have to kind of figure out. And with that, I think that's a great end to our business 101 podcast here. Renji, do you have anything else to add? I think we covered everything that we wanted to, and it's been great.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many, like we've mentioned in past episodes, this is just basic 101. There's so many, each of those topics we talked about, there's a whole episode we could do on each of those. But basic is just getting started, right way to get started, mindset, and also maybe looking for mentorship. Like whatever industry you're trying to get into, maybe there's people that you want to emulate or you want to mirror, you know, seek mentorship from them, because you can learn from their mistakes so you don't make the same mistakes. And that could help, if it took them 10 years to get to where they're at, maybe it'll only take you 2 or 3 years because you can learn from them. What's the price you're willing to pay for that, right? So again, this is just basic. There's so many more things we could dive into, but we could do that on different episodes.
Yeah. No, that's a great point to end it. Don't reinvent the wheel, but if there's someone out there that is doing what you want to do and has built a successful business, emulate them, mirror and model them. Maybe even go work for them if it's an opportunity where you can do that, but get around them, figure out what mistakes they've made, what progress they've made, get tips from them and follow in their footsteps. Because if there's somebody that's doing what you want to do, what's the best source of information that you could gather to one day end up in their shoes? It's by asking them, and that's where I think a lot of these, top entrepreneurs now are really growing a large following because they provide so much of that value for free on social media, right? And so now it's become actually kind of crazy to think about, but it's become the norm where a lot of these people share their secrets on their social media platforms or in their podcast. So like they're more open now than I think ever to sharing like what they've actually done to build wealth and how to do it yourself. But here's the thing, not everybody takes action on it, right? Not everybody takes action, not everybody gets started. And that's why they're okay with sharing this information because they know they can share it out, even if they have 1 million followers or 1 million subscribers, not everybody's going to take that information and actually apply it. And that's where you get the 1% of people, the 1% of entrepreneurs, because you have to do what the other 99% are not willing to do. And they're not willing to do, some of the basic stuff that we talked about on this podcast. So this wraps up our Business 101 podcast. Hopefully you guys got a lot out of it and got a couple insights to help you start and launch your business. If there's any questions or anything that we can help you with, feel free to leave those down below in the comments and maybe we'll make a video on it. My name is Kyle Demian. You can follow me on TikTok at The Wealth Academy and on Instagram at Kyle Demian. Renji, where can they find you at on social platforms?
Same TikTok and Instagram. It's Renjamins. It's like Benjamins with a Z, but with an R in it. But it's on Instagram and TikTok, and on Facebook it's Renji Matthew with one T.
There you go. One T with the Matthew. Awesome. Sounds good. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we appreciate your support. Have a good one.
See ya.